MOBA trainer. Get 20% off by using the code LPL20. The proceeds benefit the MOBA trainer designers, which are coaches and players, and the LPL English unofficial broadcast. Start leveling up your game today, as NIP are looking to level up their game a little bit with a first pick Yorick on the books.
Yeah, and of course, Taliyah Pantheon likely to come on through here, as that is up for SeTab. And I will be curious to see what Doinb grabs into the Taliyah Panth. As the Annie being taken away too. That's really, really nice in the Taliyah. I feel like this just goes into a potential Silas angle, as XiaoHuanGren maybe thinking the Fury. Okay.
Yeah, all right. I can see that. I think it's a fine enough combo.
It is.
You're taking the OP champions. Why not?
Yeah, see, like, the Panth comes out for Aki. This is where I don't like Pantheon that much in the Taliyah. I think that the Pantheon in the Taliyah, the rocks can be really tough to deal with. And a lot of your abilities as Pantheon are telegraphed. Not to mention you just struggled in the Unraveled Earth. So, that said, it's still being played in the Fury. It's a good grab there. And now with a very tanky Scion, of course, Pantheon and Silas. Damage profile is something that Scion's pretty comfortable with. So, I know this is a counter, like self-counter in terms of going into Yorick, but sometimes you just get so big as Scion, it just doesn't matter. And you're playing Scion. So, looks like that's the idea for ThunderTalk. Going through the rest of picks and bans, we're going to look at the bot lanes later on, Yanni. We're going to see what we have in store.
Yeah, you know, Scion, a really wheelhouse for Hoya champion. But one thing I wanted to say, how smart is Doinb, right? I simply won't pick Taliyah. I'll let them pick Taliyah, and I'll just steal Taliyah ultimate and play Silas. It's how you get the best of Taliyah with his comfort on Silas. What a true visionary, absolute genius. Now, you pointed out the bottom lanes that are going to get banned out. A couple of Leaf champions getting taken away in this misfortune, which he has played a decent bit. That Zeri is something that risen up in priority for him as well. Getting rid of one of the dive buddy known as Kaisa. Then Ezreal getting taken off the board. So 1xN is going to have to figure out something else for this game.
I really like 1xN's Ashe. And I think that like ECA is a big ult for Silas to take. But I think Ashe into what's showing here is actually okay. We can find a support champ in the end to actually like put things together. I think Ashe Braum is like very real. Oh, Xayah Rakan's up. This does give... Okay, so Xayah's going to be grabbed. That's something going airborne against the Pantheon and the Silas can be very valuable as a short-range composition. But yeah, into Xayah, always want to take range. So I think Jhin doesn't help with the damage profile against Scion. But is not bad into the Xayah. And I gotta imagine... It brings
good CC to the table to enable your Silas and your Pantheon.
Gotta imagine it could be a Rel here. Yeah, some shield break and play into the likely Rakan coming out for Feather.
See what the options are. A couple of good ones. I think that this Nautilus is pretty solid here to be able to force defensives out of this Nefiri or of this Xayah, and that's what it's going to be. This looks like a pretty good Braum angle. I think that you might be feeling that perhaps.
No, it's Rakan. I think that Braum would be... It's kind of doable. I guess it gives a worse ult over to Silas. I feel like that's the biggest advantage of it.
Yeah.
It does play really nice in the Panth Not and Jhin, though.
Yeah.
So if Feather wants it, okay. I mean, I don't hate it. I think that there is some real value for it here. I'm just surprised it's not going to be Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, again, I think the shot that you had about Silas taking the ultimate away and making sure that he doesn't have that tool is important. I mean, I think people still remember what Faker was able to do at Worlds, right? And that is some of the craziest Silas play, stealing the Rakan ultimate and using it, making that big play to make sure that T1 was actually able to really put that game away. It lives in a lot of people's minds. You know, if it lives in our minds, Cubby, it lives in the players' minds too. So obviously Doinb might not be that level of player, but you don't want to at least give him that tool. You do not want to take the chance.
Well, I gotta say, you know, battle of the bottom. We're gonna have to see who can end on the high note going into playoffs. And denying that opportunity from Doinb. It feels like Doinb's had any and all opportunities denied from him so far. He's been the big focus in picks and bans here, Yanni. And
yeah, again, it's tough. It's tough to be Doinb when you're this famous. when you have thousands of screaming fans, you also have thousands of screaming bands.
Yeah, well, good to see him. He's having a smile on his face. He's rubbing his hands together and prepping up for this game, too.
How can this guy smile, man? I would be so tilted. Yeah, please, let me play Rise!
Baby, we gotta see. I gotta say, Ninjas in Pyjamas, I like the ability for them to side lane later on, but I think that they get outscaled this game. So for me, early game gonna matter a lot to see if they can utilize that Pantheon and that Sylas to get the ball rolling and try and really set the Xia behind, because the Xia with the Scion, I'm a little bit scared for what can happen later.
I think one thing that we need to really focus on is going to be SeTab this game. Obviously, the typical pairing with Taliyah is the Pantheon, which is on the other side for the easy global access, easy side lane plays. But you're not going to have that nearly as much in this game. SeTab is going to have to find his own creative angles, and they're going to have to play very well around vision to make sure that they are able to make these side lane plays, Cubby.
Looks like we have the Conqueror Sylas for Doinb. I was seeing some Electrocute Sylas emerge here in the LPL. As dive into the lanes, I gotta say, Scion early on should have some edge into the Orc if Hoya wants it, but looks like XiaoHuanGren is going to be pathing away from him. So Hoya is going to be Sackside, going to try and eat it as the Scion. It's going to be all about this bot lane where, frankly, I think the Braum makes it very dangerous for ppgod to actually fish with any of these hooks. We'll see at the moment 1xN. Looks like he's seeding early control. Okay, he gets everything. That was quite nice, but will be early level 2 coming in for Jin plus Naught, so maybe on the bounce they could find something.
You will have to be very careful. I'm sure they are well aware, because a hook lands, Root comes after it, and it's bad news for the bottom lane. We see SeTab and Doinb poking at each other a little bit. Now, one other thing that I find interesting to mention is that Naafiri, a champion that does have the ability to invade a little bit, ganks with proper setup are fine, as me and SeTab are going to go at it a little bit longer. But if Naafiri just elects to farm up here, this is very difficult for ThunderTalk, because it does allow solo kill a lot of free time upstairs to be just fine, right?
Uh-oh. All eyes on mid. SeTab, don't. Oh, you. That's the wrong timer to hit the turret. SeTab.
All right, he flashes away, but Doinb will chase after him, and first blood will go to Aki.
Yeah.
Oof.
That is the timer where in a really volatile mid lane matchup, you got to be wary. Of course, no ward for SeTab. I just think that approaching and hitting the turret there is kind of tough. So he's going to lose his flash, lose his life, as both flashes burned by Aki and Doinb to secure that one. And see how things play out from here. First blood did go over to Aki, so we'll see if he can snowball that to other lanes.
Yeah, the one thing you never want to do is give anything away to a Pantheon in the early game. This is a champion that incredibly gank heavy, incredibly strong, and if you can neutralize a Pantheon by just forcing him to farm and do nothing, it's generally a win. So, SeTab, you get no marks for that. That is very, very sad. As XiaoHuanGren will get his full clear and just back off.
Gonna be a happy Aki this game. As yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, already looking to cross. He's got his Raptor camp respawning, so I think that's gonna be the look. Gonna go for that super clear. And Yanni, I guess a better start here for NIP. I think we haven't mentioned top lane yet. I mean, solo kills up early. See Hoya's low mana. It's a happy York up there. That guy becomes a pretty big problem later on.
Definitely worrisome. Definitely something to watch out for. As long as NIP can have a nice, smooth early game, really make sure that Doinb isn't too far behind in a melee versus range matchup. Make sure that solo kill is unbothered by XiaoHuanGren. I mean, it does mean that all the pressure is going to be on this young jungler to make the impact in this game because it doesn't look like his lanes are really going to be the one to do it.
Yeah, I do like the swap coming in. And you can see, it looks like it's going to be answered by NIP. I think any opportunity when you have Sion to just find a 1v2 scenario, the odds that Sion's happier in that scenario than your opponent are very high. There are very few champions in this game that are happier than Sion in the 1v2 as 1xn tries to catch the cannon minion. Unfortunately, misses, just barely. As this 1v2 opportunity actually going to be an opportunity for Nefiri to look at the dragon. I will say, this is a little bit aggressive coming out from ThunderTalk.
I love it, though.
Yeah, I mean, this mid wave is not going to be theirs. You have SeTab dropping at kind of low mana. They're looking for a play onto SeTab, so kind of fortunate that the dip down, the fog down, got him out of that timer.
SeTab continuing to throw rocks at Doinb, taking him down to about half HP. As Doinb has stolen the Talia ultimate. Keep an eye out for that one.
That's a good dragon take. I was pleasantly surprised by that one. They got solo kills TP out and were able to take that dragon for free. Nice work on the swap there from ThunderTalk. To, again, like some of that early strength from the Sion. I mean, this is a break point where York can only push him around so much. It's not significant yet when you're a Phage, and the bombies can help try and deal with all the paths that are coming your way, right? So, I like the swap into the take from ThunderTalk. I think that's good stuff.
And XiaoHuanGren not disrupted at all for his clear, so that's always a nice feather in your cap when you go hit level 6 without a problem on Nefiri. Again, a champion that likes to invade, but if you get in the face, you can disrupt this champion. They get behind, they are pretty useless, so good on ThunderTalk there, even though they are down the singular kill. Aki hasn't been able to do too much more, however, he's still not level 6 yet. And once he hits level 6, as he is now, I imagine the heat is going to get cranked up just a little bit, Cubby.
Again, did at least Aki, you know, just have a little bit of extra strength. And now has that semi-global. Tough to attack a Sion. SeTab down flash, though, for a couple more seconds. Wonder if that might be the look for NIP, is Doinb keeping that wave close to him. Yep.
You have to do it. You can already see Aki is pinging it. SeTab, please, no, man. And he gets hit by the Abscond Abduct. Aki, we're still waiting. Aki?
Well, he's got his own flash, and SeTab doesn't because of rune choices, right? So if they have that one timed out, that actually could have been a window to hit. As you can see, Doinb's flash synced up with SeTab's, but Aki having that Cosmic Insight actually had his sooner. I was wondering if that was going to be a flash over the wall and the punishing that window, which when teams do that, I always am, pretty thrilled about that. It's always some good gameplay. But not the case, and flash being back up for SeTab now going to be a lot safer in the mid lane, especially with the help of his friends, as Grubs have spawned at 8 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I almost said Rift Herald. I almost really reverted back to Shelly and Kelly, you know?
Oh, I know Shelly and Kelly. We're seeing a teleport coming from Doinb as ThunderTalk are going to move down. The weak side of the pincer is Aki, but he'll be able to fly in whenever he wants. Hook going to land onto Feather. He's going to get knocked up and ruined. Onto the back line goes Aki. Aki going to land the stun onto XiaoHuanGren, but Aki's kind of caught. Now he's got to flash away. XiaoHuanGren going in.
Oh,
what a seismic shove landed by SeTab as the first kill goes over to SeTab. And then going in again, the second kill goes to SeTab. Everybody over the top looking for Doinb. He finds one, but gets stunned up himself. And the Feathers are called back, and 1xn will find his. A 3-for-1 in favor of ThunderTalk.
Folks, I was coming to this series saying that... Oh, hold on, I gotta pause.
Oh, the maiden! The maiden! All right,
we're chilling. I came into the series saying that XiaoHuanGren, again, was not expected to be a jungler in the LPL. It was a promotion that was unexpected. Of course, had to be done just because of Beishuan. But, man, he is outperforming Aki, and that fight was really grim for NIP. As yes, the maiden this fall, but Aki went way too deep in that one. And meanwhile, XiaoHuanGren showing off some of the hands. As, we get a second look. I mean, ppgod 6, I cannot believe that ppgod... 1xn goes airborne with the ult. Aki connects and doesn't... I mean, there's no one can follow. They can't get through Talia. He goes way too deep there. Great foot coming out from SeTab. Makes this fight quite easy for him and 1xN. And XiaoHuanGren dancing back and forth. I know he goes down, but the time he bought, the damage he did, got a flash out of Doinb even at the end and won the fight. As again, I kind of emphasized when he came in, just how green he looked, how unready for LPL he looked. And I know that Aki's gotten his fair share of criticism with NIP, but to see XiaoHuanGren stepping up in the series for ThunderTalk, we think that this is what they need going into playoffs, right? If any hope of them making Group Ascension, winning a play-in series, has come off the back of him playing better with his squad, and we're seeing it today.
Yeah, and Aki's a veteran. You know, obviously he hasn't really played that great, but he's a guy who has played a lot of LPL games that, you know, generally knows what he's doing and would be able to, you'd expect to take advantage of a greener jungler like XiaoHuanGren, but XiaoHuanGren, again, is doing really well to just get in there and consequences be damned.
That ult was way too damn deep.
It was.
From Aki.
It was. And it was tough because Doinb had no ultimate to steal until after Aki had already died. He gets the Braum ultimate. You know, when you don't have that sort of setup and it takes forever for Sylas to actually pick an impactful ult in that fight, you're just going to be behind the 8 ball.
I like XiaoHuanGren's posture even too. Check him out. Look at how chill this guy is.
Unbothered. Ice in his veins.
He picked that. He doesn't need that Taliyah Pantheon. He wanted to carry into Fury and did his damnedest to carry in that first fight. Enough to actually open up potentially a second dragon. We'll see if this one's even contested. No Grand Starfall available yet. NIP throws down some wards, gets the bad news. And Aki knows flat. Okay, there was a pause. Mr. Useful didn't come through there. It's Jin W, can't steal it. Second dragon secured for ThunderTalk. That's a nice little lead they got kicking off for themselves here, Yanni.
Yeah, not bad at all for ThunderTalk. And SeTab after that early miscue. Again, we saw him in that fight land a really nice seismic shove. Let's see if he has any other miscues here as Aki is lying in wait. We're going to see Doinb use the stolen Scion ult to get to bot lane faster and catch this wave. I love how he turns into Scion.
Oh, that's always a pro for Sylas, you know.
Oh, here we go. Actual Scion ultimate. Leave gonna get slowed up here. Nice flash to avoid getting knocked up as 1xN has joined the party. But overall, a positive play there by Hoya.
Take that one. It's a good walk, and now he's going to be able to pick up most of that bot lane. Aki is going to try and interrupt him the way in. We can see Hoya. He's got the info, and he doesn't even care.
I see you.
Like, I dare you to jump me, man. I'll drop this wave. I don't care. Let me get this W back up and see what you can do. As, I mean, Aki's flash is coming back up, and they're pretty far up with XiaoHuanGren being down here. I really think the ThunderTalk, I mean, they could find a look. You can see Leave basing right now, so after this next mid wave, maybe a chance that we see the Xayah and Braum make a walk as they have full control over that.
13 minutes into this game right now, Cubby, and no discernible advantage for this Yorick. Just about 100 gold up on Hoya.
That's okay. Yorick, I think, at 11, and once you get 2 items is when he starts to get real scary. I actually kind of like what ThunderTalk's doing right now. The Roa for the Sylas, I mean, he cannot touch the Scion, right? And Taliyah is dealing a little bit better with solo kill right now, where you can actually contest and get farm out of them. So I think that's why we have seen that lead that was trying to be built up by solo kill collapse. Good map play from TT to find better lane assignments.
XiaoHuanGren has moved into the NIP jungle. Teleport going to be used up on the top side here for Doinb. So he picks up his Merc Treads and picks up this wave. Just about a minute until the Rift Herald is up. We're seeing a couple of backs come out here as ThunderTalk look to redeploy. As Hoya is going to pick up a plate for himself as he has had a fine game on Scion, waiting for him to make that impactful ultimate be felt. A lot of red pings on these grubs. We're seeing XiaoHuanGren redeploy on the top side. The teleport getting burnt by Hoya as well as he picks up a Sunfire. So things are starting to heat up a little bit. The pressure cooker is building here, Cubby. 33 more seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be control for ThunderTalk at the moment as Doinb. This posturing for Glacial Fisher of himself that he hijacked away, but not going to connect. And now Hoya waits to fall onto the top side. And oh boy, oh, you have TP coming in from SeTab. Actually just cleaned up that bot wave. So real fast play on the top side to try and take this turret and pry out that Rift Herald.
Not only that, avoid a potential Aki ultimate on top of him to foil any potential play that NIP may have had. That turret will go over to ThunderTalk, and a lot of that gold shoveled into SeTab as the Rift Herald is started up. And with a teleportless Doinb, it looks like this should just go over to ThunderTalk for free.
It's big too. Obviously ThunderTalk with feet secured already, right? But you're grabbing that Rift Herald and having that turret first. I mean, they're the ones that continue to be faster on the play. As Hoya now, Doinb has flash. I don't know how much he can actually get here.
Hey, he does have the abscond abduct to be able to just walk away.
We are Sion in the end. Silas has
you know
a few
what?
more buttons than us.
He's just keeping Doinb
Oh, hold
away.
on. Check it.
Get him.
Oh, okay. That's a nice dub, actually. Kill some tempo for sure.
Well, we're burning Rift Herald, too.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's being driven by XiaoHuanGren in the mid lane. He is going quite fast.
I like it.
Here we go. Twitch chat, that is you showing up to help ThunderTalk take down this turret.
I mean,
being at the bottom of the standings, they need all the help they can get. As this turret will go down. XiaoHuanGren got in there, but won't be able to do much more. As SeTab contending with solo kill up on the top side. These rocks are starting to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, he's also contending with the maiden, but that's a way on Doinb was actually really significant. I mean, they pretty much just took 2 outer turrets off that. As bot was cleaned up by Hoya. Mid almost cleaned up by ThunderTalk. Or, sorry, it was cleaned up. And now Dragon with ppgod at half. Shield
Teleport
denied.
coming in for solo kill. Doinb forced off on the side. As ThunderTalk are going to back up. SeTab is not quite here. Does have the Weaver's Wall available.
If they pull this down, like I think it's really favorable. Well, that's big.
Wall coming through. SeTab a little bit too far up, but he's okay for right now. And coming through is Aki. He gets to the back line, but SeTab is safely over the wall, throwing some rocks. Hoya doing what he can on the front line, but the Dragon is taken by Leaf. Now they look for a little more. Knock up on the solo kill. Another knock up with a seismic shove means a double kill goes over to 1xN.
I mean, this one doesn't really look competitive, Yanni. It was a steal on the Jhin, so Leaf getting a little bit lucky there, but it was a great entrance to the fight from Doinb. It just didn't matter. The rest of the fight was not even close for NIP.
And again, we're failing to see Aki really make an impact in these fights.
Yeah,
he got on the back line.
Brutal.
He got a stun, and that's it.
This Pantheon looks brutal. There's no follow-up, right? There's like no curtain call. There's no depth charge to go on top of it. I mean, look at even ppgod. They're sitting on their ultimates.
Jeez, man. This is tough.
Jeez, mom. You know, it's been a rough day. I gotta say, oh, hold on, replay. Again, this is a great entrance from Doinb. Like, he gets 2. But look at Leave and ppgod. They can't enter through the rocks with the glacial fission. And they aren't pressing R. If Leave wants to participate in the fighting and press R, they don't. There's no depth charge. There's no curtain call. And they get ran down. Meanwhile, Doinb looks like he actually stole the Weaver's Wall. It might have been canceled. It was a little bit awkward. SeTab's out of mana. He's got to get out of here. But it's been tough. And these Pantheons, like, again, I think I really don't like how early Pantheon's being picked. I think that this champ is being, like, very overrated. And my reasoning is you need to control the front line if you're playing Pantheon. And you really need to have a Leona, a Nautilus, something that helps him go in and helps him actually be able to do stuff. Nautilus is that champion, but Braum really counters Panth. We saw that when Panth support was popular last split. It's really tough. Like, your abilities are so telegraphed, and you're playing this Pantheon into Talia, Sion, Braum. You're not winning out on that frontline war. I do not care if you are NIP. Panth needs, CC needs space to be able to do damage. No way you're winning out of the frontline war against what ThunderTalk has, so your champion is far less valuable.
Uh-oh. Feather in a little bit of trouble here. Weaver's Wall going to come through. They're going to force the flash out of him. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you here, Cubby, about this Pantheon. And, you know, one of the big hallmarks of a Pantheon is being able to at least ult on the side lanes to make those kills happen, to get this side lane pressure. And we haven't seen that either, right? We saw, you know, there was an opportunity to Pantheon ult the mid lane that he didn't do. We saw the one where it looked like they were maybe going to make that play, and SeTab wisely teleported to the top side. But that's literally been it, right? You haven't really tried to help out solo kill. You haven't really tried to help out Doinb. and you're just kind of ulting in the middle of these fights, going like, I'm Pantheon, I got a shield, I got a spear. And that's not good enough. You need to do more. And again, this is what we've been asking of Aki, and that's what he needs to do in order to get NIP going. And he is the one getting knocked up here. He is the one getting stunned here, and he is the one getting picked off here.
And this is why Aki's been getting flacked this split. And like your mid laner is Doinb, he's gonna play to help enable you. And obviously, I mean, it doesn't help that Doinb is really popular, right? I mean, some fans are just gonna blame any and all problems on not Doinb because, you know, it's not Doinb. But like XiaoHuanGren, and props to him, he stepped up in the latter weeks. But again, this was an LDL jungler that wasn't supposed to see the light of day for LPL. Like this split, I mean, to my understanding, ThunderTalk was not a great LDL team. This guy's like not a top jungler in the league. He was a mid-tier LDL jungler at best, right? He was bodied Aki for these 2 games. Like that's a major concern, and why I think NIP really finds themselves in the way they are. It's not just Aki. I think they have some other issues, but for me, Aki's been the biggest problem with his team. Again, this is him getting outperformed pretty badly in this game.
Not the greatest route by ThunderTalk, but they managed to find a way on the solo kill anyway. They force a teleport out. Coming through here is Doinb, along with a Pantheon ult too. Doinb is going to land the knockup onto Feather. Seismic shove, not Seismic shove, sorry, Weaver's Wall puts Doinb on the other side, but he's able to get back over. XiaoHuanGren is going to have to walk this one out. Doinb going to chase him down, not land the abscond of Duct. And it's a nice little pick there for NIP.
That Feather went down before he could get off the heal or the Glacial Fissure. You can see the Glacial Fissure almost being casted, but didn't get off, so stays off cooldown for him. As both TPs used here by NIP, so TP advantage for SeTab and the ThunderTalk coming up with Dragon in 20 seconds. And I gotta say right now, given that Doinb TP top, they're gonna play for the outer, it kind of feels like NIP is giving this up for gold. There's gonna be an outer for inner trade and full control of the Dragon. Could be ThunderTalks here if XiaoHuanGren makes his way there, and that sure does seem to be the case. Again, keep in mind, SeTab can actually join a Dragon fight. Whereas
Aki is 2 levels down.
Doinb can't. Yeah, I mean,
so
what happens when you ult in and die.
Yeah. So does this perhaps change your prediction? I know you did predict NIP to take a 3-2 over FPX. With
honestly,
how
yes.
solid Monkey has been.
I mean, I'm gonna stick with it. FPX will be Shadow. I'm gonna stick with my prediction, but
oh yeah, Shadow.
This has not been good for NIP fans. Soul point secured for free. 4.5k gold lead for ThunderTalk.
We did it.
And I mean, like, how do you play your way out of this? Your NIP. It feels like you have to wait for a leave IE. That's a pretty big spike, but that's a long way away. And
well, he's starting it at the very least.
Like
he did go the second item LDR.
I'm fine with that against the Scion. That's chill. And then Steel Cap's like bomb. It's fine. I know.
It's so tough though. As a second item, it's just such a bad second item. I know you have to.
Oh, that's an ult.
It just stinks as a second item. Here we go. All right, Aki trying to get in there, gets hit with the seismic shove. XiaoHuanGren putting in plenty of damage. He is so thick, too.
Yeah.
Heals up quite a bit, but the rest of the team starting to show up. SeTab cutting them both off there with the Weaver's Wall, but he puts himself into trouble. It's a 1-for-1 for right now, and the rest of the squad trying to show up. Feather at least gets there. Ooh. The dogs are barking, but solo kill. The mailman able to escape with only some of his pants eaten. As the Maiden will be the one to go down here. Very sad, 07 salute.
Yeah, I look, again, I understand splitting up the Panth Talia, but this is why I don't like playing Panth into Talia. You know where the Talia or the Panth's going to land, and these pro players are good enough where you can easily make sure that you punish the Telegraph's ultimate. So it's not just that, right? Even fighting through Unraveled Earth, that's really tricky for Pantheon, so he has a lot of ways to try and kite things out. And that 2v2 was unwarranted for Aki and solo kill. Ends up being evened out as ThunderTalk still get to play the map. And Yanni, I gotta say, if I'm ThunderTalk, I'm not even thinking about this Baron, man. I think I'm using the Baron to draw them away from Dragon, if anything. As Infernal Soul is probably gonna be the grand prize here.
All right, I respect hopping in from behind, trying to do anything to Doinb. Doinb once again has the Scion ultimate. Still waiting for him to make a large impact with some of these ultimates. He's 1-1 and 2 right now. He's got his rod, he's got his Riftmaker, and yet he has not yet made a big play.
He's been doing his best.
Nice big shove. Knockup is there. ppgod gets called out.
That's Brahma the Knot, man. That's the only reason I got to say Grandmaster in this game. At one point.
Hey, listen, man.
Matchup, I swear to
hey,
God.
listen. Give yourself a little bit of credit, man. It is difficult to do. I'm having trouble getting out of Emerald at this point in my life.
It's, you know what? It's fun to say that I earned the right to get baptized by Core JJ a couple times.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of getting baptized,
all right,
Aki.
Weaver's Wall. Aki dodging out on the seismic shove there, but Feather coming through. They're going to flash on top of Aki. Look to stun him up. He's got his shield wall out, but it ain't going to be enough as they're going to take him down. As ThunderTalk are wearing all purple. Over on the other side, Hoya was able to keep the rest of the members of NIP at bay.
And you know what? We just use this free Baron to try and take the dragon. And I know that we have play-in matches coming up. This has not been I know this match doesn't matter in theory, but it's about building confidence on stage, Yanni. And I think this does matter a lot. Fan, you have not gained a lot of confidence watching your team perform today, as the hometown audience is getting a little bit quiet in the stands.
Yeah, sure. By virtue of standings and stuff, yes. This doesn't mean anything right now. Nobody is going to move at all, regardless of who wins and who loses the series. But, you know, there's still a lot that we're looking for out of really both of these teams. And I find it interesting that so far NIP have really kind of put Leave in the backseat this series so far. I know the Varus is a champion that you can't have a solid impact on, but, you know, it's not really a Leave hyper carry champion where you're really putting the ball in his hands. You're just kind of using it for utility and good damage. And then this game on the Jhin, again, not really putting the ball in his hands.
I think that the Jhin was a decent pick this game. Like, the range in the Xayah is nice. I just really like the Braum adaptation from Feather.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with the Jhin pick. It's just... Leave has been so good on these scaling champions or a champion like Lucian, right? Even though he has had struggles at times getting picked off on them, he has performed well on them until he doesn't.
I think the team might be fishing here. As he's going to leave those buffers for a little bit. And,
okay.
They didn't chain the deadly flourishes.
All right, bro. XiaoHuanGren going deep on this one. Knockup is there. ppgod close to getting tagged. Leave is forced to flash away. Feather and SeTab always wanting more there. ppgod getting lower and lower. Will be able to get away, and here comes the curtain call. This might be the first time it's been casted this entire game, Cubby, as they're looking to land the fourth shot onto Feather, and Leave is able to pick up the kill, but here comes the Sion ultimate, big stuff, and he splits the gap. The field goal is good. Don't give him a Hoya for that one, but they still managed to find a kill. Doinb's got to go golden. XiaoHuanGren getting over the wall, and Doinb will fall. Hoya looking to finish off ppgod. The flick on the seismic shove finds him as solo kill is the only one left standing. Now, luckily, his buddy Aki spawning now. The back coming in from SeTab, but he does have teleport. It is immediately going to burn it. ThunderTalk are looking to end the game.
And ThunderTalk, again, I think the biggest confidence builder for them going into the playoffs. XiaoHuanGren had a really nice series. This player wasn't supposed to be an LPL this split because the Beishuan movie's here early. Trial by fire. And
Aki?
I thought he really outplayed Aki in this one. As the Pantheon can't find the crits, he goes down, and that's going to be game.
The solo kill will be able to at least get to the steps of the fountain to make sure that he stays alive. But it is a 2-0 series victory for ThunderTalk. Now that is what I'm Thunder talking about.
Same here. I guess early bedtime for us, Yanni, as the bottom 5 teams. We saw 4 out of 5 of them. Not very competitive today, sadly, as NIP didn't exactly have the best 3. They wanted to build up some confidence for the playing stage. I gotta say, though, we saw some real positives from ThunderTalk. I think their drafts overall were solid, and to see XiaoHuanGren actually have a couple of decent games, I feel like that's a confidence builder moving forward. As, of course, I will say, I find it funny. His IGN means Little Yellow Man, and he is the tallest person on his team.
That is hilarious.
To be fair, he was the biggest person on the Rift, too. I thought that the Fury game was actually quite good. I really like how he played that one out. And they caught the throws and Aki's overextensions with the rest of NIP, and actually were able to make that game look pretty good. So props to ThunderTalk.
It's just a damn shame he didn't really get a lot of kills. You know, he was really low in the kill count. Definitely deserved a lot of them, but definitely made a lot of plays. It was, I hesitate to call it a vegan Neferi, but he just didn't get the kills, right? Like, it's not like he was vegan and just farming up and not doing anything. He just didn't get any of the kills. So it just feels bad.
I don't want to know what goes into a vegan hot dog, man. That's all I'm going to say.
We could look it up, but it doesn't seem like
never look up what goes into a hot dog, guys.
Yeah, no.
Some
absolutely
ignorance is bliss. I cannot emphasize that enough. All right, that's all I'm saying.
They do hot dogs pretty big over in the Midwest, right?
Oh yeah, there's a billboard by me that's advertising the best hot dogs like in the world, right, or like in the country. And I consistently take a Snapchat of that and send it to my buddies back home and just be like, no way. They no way.
Absolutely
it's not even close. Yeah.
It seems false. Speaking of hot dogs, there's apparently some good hot dog spots in North Jersey that are a little bit further away from me. But they do like a fried hot dog, and I'm like, I'm already big enough. I don't really need that. It sounds pretty hard. I'll have to try it at least once. I'm like, I always go up a little bit north on Fridays to go hang out with some of my friends. So maybe one of these days I'm gonna snag a dog before that. As you snag the dog, you tend to win. That's what's been happening in many regions at this point. And what happened for ThunderTalk today is they took a 2-0. They evened themselves up with an IP, at least by series record. Individual game record was not quite there for them, 12-31 compared to 14-29. But whenever you're able to snag a victory when you are in the doldrums, it always feels good. And again, we talked about momentum building for going into the play-ins. ThunderTalk might have either the easiest or the toughest assignment. We actually don't know, because Weibo, on paper, the team is good on paper, like name value. But if you've been watching, the team is not good. This has been very bad. And I don't know if ThunderTalk's going to win or lose the series. Like, I go back and forth in my mind, man. But I'm excited to actually watch it. It will be a really good test for ThunderTalk. But this might be a team that we are kind of looking at in Split 3 to be at least a little bit more competitive, with a little bit more growth out of their jungler.
Yeah, and hey, again, like, I get to praise XiaoHuanGren. Like, I've been hard on him behind the scenes, right? Like, I really felt like when he first stepped into this team, he wasn't ready for the big stage. Like, this is a trial by fire for him, but Matt, like, he had a nice series and did outplay his opponent. I think that Aki helped quicken his own demise, but got to give credit where credit's due. Again, if I'm ThunderTalk, I think that's the biggest positive, the biggest takeaway, and the biggest need that they had going into playoffs, that they want to be competitive. Really felt like XiaoHuanGren needs to step up, and he did in this best of 3. So hopefully that's a really big confidence builder for them going into the play-in stage.
Yeah, now it's time for us to talk MVP. I think XiaoHuanGren is definitely a good shout. I thought SeTab played a really nice game.
Ooh. Yeah, it's probably SeTab. Give MVP to.
Oh, he did a lot of damage too. He just had a lot of really nice fights. Where his seismic shoves were generally pretty good.
Shout out to Hoya as well. I actually thought Hoya
he deserves
had
a shout.
Game. So good series from Hoya here, going into solo kill. And hey, again, ThunderTalk. I mean, they could be happy with that one. I thought it was good looks from them today overall. Yeah. So this was a team again that was a really big surprise with Beishuan in Split 1. We know that Beishuan's, like, he was the leader of this team. He was the shot caller. When he was swapped out, obviously, I mean, this team was a little bit down to the dumps because they felt like they had something going and it had to stop when Beishuan swapped out. But they have XiaoHuanGren, a player that, again, really green, wasn't your best jungler in LDL, wasn't really expected to play in LPL this split. For him to step up, step in, and really have better performances rather quickly. I know the group ascension's fast and furious. I gotta believe that's gonna help a player like XiaoHuanGren. I mean, in the last 4 weeks, he's probably gotten more and better stage games than what he's ever gotten in his career before, if you think about it, right? Like, being from ThunderTalk's LDL team, like, not a great team that you have in the standings. And to, you know, see that and have him run with that, for me, like, in a retrospective, looking at this chaotic group ascension, like the 250-plus games that we cover this split, I really feel like one of the big takeaways was just that the constant on-stage reps did have a positive impact for teams like Team WE, like Team FPX, like XiaoHuanGren, who those teams really were behind early on, needed to level up, and did so in a way where they were actually competitive, right? WE being a 6 seed is pretty awesome in a story for them. No one had that on their bingo card going into group ascension.
Yeah, I think, you know, we want to shout out some players that really got a lot of benefit a lot of rub from this. You know, if you take a look at Team WE, I think a lot of their players did. I think Vampire, you know, it was Split 2 Vampire that really started being
he was on the
a big player. Monkey as well coming through there. He's had a really good Split 2 so far. Even Taeyun's been consistent all year, but he's a good shout too. You know, when you take a look at some other places, I mean, 1xN and Feather have been pretty good generally, and you know, obviously it's a little bit hard, but they've had some good individual performances. You know, and just a lot of players, you know, Shadow as well has been really good. Zhui, who is literally top of the league for MVPs. You know, he's what, third, I think? Still holding on to that third spot, might be fourth.
Zhui's been really good. He's getting his flowers too, which is nice to see. He's been legitimately good.
Yeah, but yeah, just a lot of games mean that a lot of these players are going to build upon what they've done before, and even if they're not going and winning a ton right now, they're looking good individually, and that's things that they can take away going into later in the year, right? You know, we do have a third split that's going to happen after MSI, right? And these teams are going to be back at it, fighting again. The records are wiped, and this time it's try to go to Worlds, which is everything in this esport.
Yeah, those play-in matches, they're going to mean a lot. And I know that in the community here, we're going to try and do a little something for those. I believe that
it'll be exciting.
Might be able to promote a community bracket that you guys can figure out. It's going to involve a spreadsheet and trusting the masses. So really hope that we can trust the masses with this one as you guys try and copy down some answers. But do want to get your thoughts on what you think about the bracket coming up. And, of course, the play-in stage for playoffs. Again, that best of 5 is not just to continue on to Split 2 with MSI hopes to keep those alive, but also to qualify for Group Ascension in the Split 3, which, again, that makes that trek and that path to Worlds so much easier, so much better, and likely. And, hey, shout out to SeTab. Yanni, you called it. Big game on the Talia as he picks up the pug.
Yep, this is a good shout for SeTab to actually get this MVP. Really, really nice stuff there. Let's pull up the standings as we have finally finished Split 2, the regular season at the very least. 48 straight days of games. Here are our final standings for Group Ascend. We saw Team WE and Weibo go at it earlier. WE were able to snag that 6th spot. That means they are going to be facing LGD in the play-ins. Our play-ins are set, Cubby. What do you think is the matchup to watch in this play-in?
I think it's FPX NIP, honestly. I think everyone in the bingo card had NIP moving forward. This was not a very thrilling game for them, and going up against FPX, a team that I think has been okay. Again, awesome, and Zhui's been really big. So ppgod, Aki going to need to play better if NIP want to exit that series with the victory.
Absolutely, Cubby. A couple of things that we want to highlight before we kick it off for the night, because that is the end of the stream. We want to give a big shout out to our elite coffee supporters, Aaron Soup, Mung, and Forrest Without, because their pledged financial contribution help us level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and crew who strive to give you an English LPL product every single day, except for tomorrow, because we finally have an off day. There will be no LPL action tomorrow. However, on the 24th, which is Saturday morning, it will be our first play-in game. We do not know which matchup is coming up first quite yet. So keep an eye out for that. You're not going to want to miss it because, you know, playoff time, the juice gets turned up and everything gets a little bit better. You will want to keep an eye out for community interaction, perhaps getting a nice little pick 'em in or a nice little bracket to have a little bit of fun. We always love having fun over here in the LPL and see who has the most ball knowledge. I know a lot of people in the Twitch chat go back and forth about, I've got the best ball knowledge. No, I do. No, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. We shouldn't be saying that to each other, but we do it anyway. That will be it for us this evening and for the regular season of Split 2. For myself, for Cubby, for Brett, and everybody on the English unofficial LPL broadcast, we want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Yeah.
And the regular season of Split 2. We will see you in a couple of days for the play-ins for the Split 2 playoffs. We need to see you there.